Yo, what's up, everybody? Let's talk about something real. Something we all feel but don't always want to talk about. Discomfort. You know that feeling. That little voice in your head that says, nah, don't do it. It's that feeling you get when you're about to try something new. Maybe it's speaking in front of a crowd. Maybe it's learning a new skill. Or maybe it's just having a tough conversation you've been putting off for way too long. It's that knot in your stomach, that slight sweat on your brow. It's universal. We all know what it feels like. We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid it. We build these little bubbles around ourselves. We call them comfort zones. And they feel good, right? They're warm. They're safe. They're predictable. In your comfort zone, you know the rules. You know the outcome. There are no surprises, no risks. It's like watching the same movie over and over again. You know every line. You know how it ends. But here's the thing about that movie. It never changes. And if the movie never changes, then you never change either. You're just stuck on repeat. Think about it for a second. When was the last time you learned something truly amazing while you were comfortable? When did you discover a hidden talent while you were just chilling on the couch? The answer is probably never. All the good stuff, all the growth, all the magic. It happens on the other side of that feeling. It happens just past the point where you want to turn back. That moment of hesitation is a signpost. It's a big flashing neon sign that says, your next level is this way. But we're programmed to see it as a stop sign instead. I've been there more times than I can count, from the streets of West Philly to the biggest movie sets in the world. Every single step forward in my life came with a huge dose of that feeling. That feeling of, I don't know if I can do this. It's the price of admission for a bigger life. It's the toll you have to pay to get on the highway to your dreams. We've been taught to run from this feeling. But what if I told you that you need to run toward it? What if discomfort wasn't the enemy? What if it was actually your greatest ally? We got it all backward. We think happiness is the absence of problems. We think success is living a life free from stress and struggle. That's a fantasy. That's not how life works. Look at anyone you admire, anyone who's achieved something great. I guarantee their journey is full of intense discomfort. They had to face their fears. They had to push through failure. They had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That struggle isn't a bug. It's the whole program. It's the secret ingredient. Imagine you're trying to build muscle at the gym. What do? You lift weights that are heavy. You push your body until it's tired, until it aches. That's discomfort. The muscle tears a little bit. It's stressed. But what happens next? It repairs itself, and it grows back stronger than before. Your mind and your character work the exact same way. You can't get mentally stronger by only thinking easy thoughts. You can't build character by only making easy choices. You need resistance. You need a challenge to push against. This isn't just some motivational talk. It's a fundamental law of nature. A lobster grows by shedding its shell. To grow bigger, it has to leave its old restrictive home and be vulnerable while a new shell forms. Dangerous, uncomfortable, but it's the only way to grow. A seed has to break itself apart in the dark, cold ground before it can become a tree. Growth requires a period of struggle. It demands that you break out of what's holding you back, even if that thing is your own sense of safety. So, for the next few minutes, I want you to open your mind. I want you to challenge everything you've ever believed about discomfort. We're going to flip the script. We're going to see that feeling not as a warning, but as an invitation to get stronger, an invitation to learn, an invitation to become the person you were always meant to be. So let's break down this comfort zone. What is it really? It's not a physical place. It's a mental state. It's a collection of your habits, your routines, your skills that you've mastered. Inside this zone, everything is easy. You feel in control. You feel safe. It's like having your favorite meal every single day. You know you're gonna like it. There's no risk of disappointment, but eating the same thing every day gets boring. You miss out on a whole world of other amazing flavors. That's what your comfort zone does. This zone feels like a warm blanket on a cold day. It's cozy, it's reassuring, but that blanket can quickly turn into a cage, a golden cage. It keeps you locked in, away from the opportunities waiting just outside. You think you're safe, but you're limiting yourself. You're putting a ceiling on your potential. You're telling the universe, this is as far as I go. This is as good as it gets. And the universe listens. It will stop sending you bigger challenges because you've shown you're not looking. Your potential is not fixed. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. You can't build a skyscraper if you're afraid to get on the scaffolding. You can't discover new oceans if you're afraid to lose sight of the shore. Staying comfortable is an illusion of security. The real danger isn't failing. The real danger is succeeding at staying the same. It's the slow, silent death of the person you could have become. It's trading the adventure of a lifetime for a lifetime of predictability. Think about your dreams. That big, audacious goal tucked in the back of your mind. Is it inside your comfort zone? I doubt it. If it was, you'd have already achieved it. Your dreams live in the land of discomfort. They require new skills, new mindsets, new levels of courage. By staying inside your bubble, you're choosing to keep your dreams at a distance. You're building a wall between who you are and who you want to be. Every day you choose comfort, you're adding another brick to that wall. Here's a dangerous secret about the comfort zone. It doesn't stay the same size. It shrinks. If you don't actively push against the walls, they start closing in on you. Things that used to be easy start to feel a little harder. The world keeps moving. It keeps changing. And if you stand still, you're not just standing still. You're actually falling behind. Your skills get rusty. Your confidence gets a little shaky. Before you know it, your world has gotten smaller without you even realizing it. The zone of what feels safe gets tighter and tighter. This is the trap of good enough. You get a job that's good enough. You get into a routine that's good enough. Life is fine. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. It's just okay. Okay is one of the most dangerous words in the dictionary. It's the enemy of greatness. It lulls you into a state of complacency. You stop striving. You stop learning. You stop growing. You accept the version of your life that's right in front of you instead of fighting for the one you truly deserve. You settle. And settling is a quiet form of giving up. This is why people get stuck. They hit a certain level of success or stability and they park the car. They think, I've made it. Now I can just coast. But there's no such thing as coasting in life. You're either pedaling forward or you're rolling backward down the hill. By avoiding discomfort, you lose your edge. You lose that fire that pushed you to get where you are. The world outside keeps getting more competitive, more advanced, and you, in your good enough bubble, become less and less prepared to deal with it. So when a real challenge finally hits, and it always does, it feels like a catastrophe instead of an opportunity. Your comfort zone promises stability, but it delivers stagnation. It tells you that you have everything you need, so you stop looking for more. But the human spirit isn't built for stagnation. We are built to explore, to create, to overcome. Denying that impulse is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a while, but it takes constant effort, and eventually that ball is going to pop up with force. That feeling of being stuck, of being bored, of wondering, is this all there is? That's your spirit trying to break free. It's telling you that good enough is no longer good enough. Staying in your comfort zone doesn't just limit your actions. It limits your thoughts. It creates an echo chamber in your mind. You surround yourself with people who think like you. You consume media that confirms what you already believe. You avoid conversations and ideas that challenge your worldview. Why? Well, because it's uncomfortable to be wrong. It's uncomfortable to have your beliefs questioned. It's just easier to stay in a place where everyone and everything agrees with you. But agreement doesn't lead to growth. It leads to intellectual laziness. When you're not exposed to different perspectives, your own ideas become brittle. You lose the ability to think critically. You start seeing the world in black and white, right and wrong, us and them. You become rigid. A mind that isn't stretched by new ideas is like a muscle that isn't exercised. It becomes weak and inflexible. You become less creative. You become less able to solve problems. You become more fearful of the unknown. Your world doesn't just shrink on the outside, it shrinks on the inside too. Your own mind becomes a smaller, more confined place to live. The greatest breakthroughs in history came from people who were willing to step outside the echo chamber. They were willing to challenge the comfortable beliefs of their time. Think about Galileo saying the earth revolves around the sun. That was deeply uncomfortable for everyone. It shattered their entire reality. But it was the truth. Progress requires us to question what we think we know. It demands that we entertain ideas that make us uneasy. If you're never questioning yourself, if you're never wrong, you're not learning. You're just confirming your own biases on a loop. This is how we stop ourselves from reaching our true potential. We become prisoners of our own perspective. But all the magic, all the innovation, all the wisdom lies in the information we've been filtering out. To unlock your full potential, you have to be willing to be a beginner again. You have to be willing to say, I don't know. You have to intentionally seek out ideas. You have to intentionally seek out people that make you think, that challenge you, that make you a little bit uncomfortable. That's how you break out of the echo chamber and into a world of infinite possibility. Now, this ain't just theory. This ain't just me talking. History is filled with legends, people whose names we know, whose stories we tell, but we often forget the part that matters most. We see the highlight reel. We don't see the behind-the-scenes struggle. We see the championship trophy. We don't see the thousands of hours in an empty gym. We see the blockbuster movie. We don't see the hundreds of failed auditions. Every person you look up to has a story of crippling discomfort. They didn't stumble into greatness. They climbed a mountain of it, one painful step at a time. Let's talk about Michael Jordan, the G08. We think of him as unstoppable, but he was cut from his high school varsity team. Cut, told he wasn't good enough. Imagine that embarrassment. The self-doubt. That's a level of discomfort that would make most people quit. He could have said, okay, basketball isn't for me. He could have stayed where it was comfortable, but he didn't. He used that feeling. He let it fuel him. He spent the entire summer practicing, day and night. That discomfort became the fire that forged the greatest player of all time. Then you got J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter, she was a single mom struggling to get by, living on government assistance. She wrote the first book in cafes, trying to keep her baby asleep. She sent her manuscript to 12 publishers. Every single one said no. Rejection after rejection. That's brutal, soul-crushing discomfort. It's the world telling you over and over your dream is worthless. It would have been easy to give up. Put the manuscript in a drawer. Take a sensible job. But she kept going. She believed in her story when no one else did. She faced poverty. She faced rejection. She faced uncertainty. The discomfort of giving up was greater. She created a universe that inspired millions. Her story isn't just about a boy wizard. It's about a woman who walked through fire and refused to get burned. These legends aren't special because they avoided discomfort. They're special because they faced it head on. They looked that ugh feeling in the eye and said, "You work for me now." The story of triumph is almost always born from the story of rejection. It's a classic script. Think about Walt Disney, the man who created the happiest place on earth. Before he created Mickey Mouse, he was fired from a newspaper. His editor said he lacked imagination. His editor said he had no good ideas. Let that sink in. He started other businesses that failed. He was left broke, eating beans out of a can. He was swimming in discomfort. Failure was his constant companion. He was so far out of his comfort zone he couldn't even see it anymore. Most people would have taken that editor's words to heart. They would have believed the rejection. They would have shrunk their dreams to fit the world's opinion of them. But Walt used that rejection as data. It wasn't a stop sign. It was a redirection. He didn't let the discomfort of failure define him. He let it refine him. He kept pushing, kept creating, kept believing in a vision that only he could see. Every no made his yes more powerful. His success wasn't built on easy wins. It was built on the rubble of his failures. He turned his biggest setbacks into his greatest comeback. And what about Oprah Winfrey? A true queen. Her early life was marked by extreme poverty and trauma. When she started in television, she was fired as a news anchor in Baltimore. They told her she was too emotionally invested. That very thing, empathy, her ability to connect with people on a deep human level, became the quality that made her a global icon. Her professional discomfort became her superpower. She could have changed, become colder, become more detached. Instead, she leaned into who she was. She embraced her emotional connection. She created her own show. She created her own lane. Her greatest perceived flaw became her greatest asset. She transformed, not fitting into an empire of authenticity. The world rejects you because you're meant to build a new world of your own. You don't have to be a world-famous celebrity to be a hero in this story. The most powerful examples of embracing discomfort are honestly all around us. They're the quiet warriors, the everyday champions, who don't get the magazine covers but are changing their lives in, really profound ways. Think about the immigrant who leaves their home, their family, everything they know, to start a new life in a new country. They don't speak the language. They don't know the culture. Every single day is a masterclass in discomfort. From ordering a coffee to finding a job, everything is a struggle. They face the discomfort of being an outsider, of being misunderstood, of being lonely. It would be so much more comfortable to stay home, in the familiar. But they push through that wall of fear for the chance at a better life for themselves and their children. They are living proof that the human spirit's desire for growth is stronger than its desire for comfort. Their courage doesn't make the evening news, but it's a testament to the incredible strength that is unlocked when you step into the unknown. They are building a new world for their family, one uncomfortable moment at a time. Think about the person in your life who decided to go back to school later in life. Maybe it's your mom, your uncle, or a friend. They walk into a classroom full of people younger than them. They have to learn new technology, new ways of thinking. They feel slow. They feel out of place. It's deeply uncomfortable. They have to juggle classes with work, with family, with all the responsibilities of adult life. It would be so much easier to just accept that their time for learning is over, to stay in the comfort zone of their current career and knowledge. But they have a hunger for something more. They refuse to believe that growth has an expiration date. They embrace the discomfort of being a beginner again because they know it's the only way to get to the next level. They are rewriting their own story, proving that it's never too late to chase a new dream. These quiet warriors show us that you don't need a big stage to be a star. All you need is the courage to take that first uncomfortable step, and then the next, and then the one after that. They are the living, breathing examples of this principle in action. Alright, so we've seen the legends, the quiet warriors. We know this works in real life. But why? What's actually happening inside our heads when we step into that ugh zone? This isn't just magic, y'all. This is science. It all comes down to your brain. Your brain is not a rock. It's more like a muscle. And just like any other muscle, it needs to be challenged to grow. When you're chilling in your comfort zone, doing things you've already mastered, your brain is on autopilot. It's in energy-saving mode. It's not building anything new. But the moment you try something difficult, something that makes you feel a little clumsy and stupid, everything changes. your brain flips a switch. It goes into hard mode. It wakes up. It starts paying close attention because it knows this is important for survival and learning. It starts firing off new connections between neurons. This process is called neuroplasticity. It means your brain can literally change its own structure. It can rewire itself. When you push yourself, you are physically building a new, better brain. You're not just learning a skill, you're upgrading your hardware. Think of it like blazing a new trail in a thick forest. The first time you do it, it's hard. You have to hack through the bushes, you get scratched up, you might get lost. It's slow and uncomfortable. That's your brain forming a new neural pathway. It's weak and inefficient at first, but if you walk that same path again the next day, it's a little easier, and the day after that, it's even easier. After a while, you've got a clear, well-worn path. That's what practice does. It strengthens those new connections in your brain until the new, hard thing becomes the new, easy thing. So that feeling of struggle, that mental friction when you're learning something new, that's not a sign that you're failing. That's the sound of your brain building itself. It's the feeling of growth happening in real time. We've been trained to think that if something is hard, it means we're not good at it. But the science says the exact opposite. If it's hard, it means you're doing it right. You are actively forcing your brain to evolve. You are telling it, the old wiring isn't good enough anymore. We need a new map. And your brain, being the incredible machine it is, answers the call. Now, let's talk about something that comes with being in hard mode. Mistakes. Ugh. We hate making them, right? It feels terrible. It's embarrassing. It's the ultimate form of public discomfort. From the time we were kids in school, we were taught that mistakes are bad. Get the red X on your paper. Get the lower grade. The goal was to avoid mistakes at all costs. But what if I told you that from a brain science perspective, mistakes are the secret sauce? They are the most important part of learning. They are the magic ingredient. When you make a mistake and realize it, your brain does something incredible. A specific electrical signal, like a little jolt of lightning, fires off. Scientists can actually see it on an EEG. The signal is your brain saying, "Whoa, hold up, what we expected did not happen." Pay attention. Record this. It's a powerful moment of focus and analysis. Your brain becomes hyper-aware, trying to figure out what went wrong so it doesn't happen again. A correct answer doesn't create the same jolt. When you're right, your brain, cool, next. This is why trying and failing is way more powerful than not trying. Every mistake is a piece of data. It's a clue. It's a lesson wrapped in a little bit of failure. People who are afraid of making mistakes, who only do what they can already do perfectly, are robbing their brains of its most powerful learning tool. They're choosing comfort and ignorance over temporary discomfort and getting smarter. You cannot learn to ride a bike without falling a few times. Wobbles, falls. Those wobbles and falls are not failures. They're your brain learning balance. So change your relationship with mistakes, not as a judgment on ability, but as a guidepost on your journey. When you mess up, don't beat yourself up. Don't shrink. Instead, get curious. Ask, okay, that was interesting. What can I learn? Celebrate the mistake. It's evidence you're pushing yourself on the right track. Someone who never makes mistakes is playing it way too safe. The magic isn't in being perfect. The magic is in the mess. Trying, failing, trying again, wiser than before. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The word stress. It's got a bad rap, right? We hear stress and we think of burnout, anxiety, high blood pressure. And yeah, chronic long-term stress is bad for you. That's like leaving the weights on your chest at the gym and never getting up. But there's another kind of stress. It's called eustress, good stress. The kind you feel when you believe you can handle a challenge, excitement before a big game, nerves before a presentation, short-term, manageable discomfort. Good stress is a performance enhancer. Your brain releases chemicals when you face a challenge. Adrenaline, cortisol. In small doses, they're amazing, more focused, heightened senses, a burst of energy, a superhero version of yourself. Briefly, it's your body's natural go-time response. This is the state for doing great things. You can't hit peak performance while totally relaxed. Key: stress must be followed by recovery, like working out. Stress the muscle, rest and rebuild. Push through discomfort, then relax. You get stronger. That cycle is the rhythm of growth. Scientists call it hormesis. A little bad thing can be good. A little poison can be medicine. A little stress builds resilience, mentally and physically. So don't aim to eliminate stress. That's impossible and undesirable. Aim to handle it better. See pressure as opportunity, not threat. Learn to surf stress instead of drowning. Intentionally seek good stress situations. Train your nervous system. Increase your capacity for pressure. Teach your body and brain you can handle more. You're not just stronger, you're expanding what's possible. So we know the why, we know the science. Now let's get to the how. How do you actually do this? How do you make that first move when every part of you is screaming, no? It starts with one simple trick. I call it killing hesitation. You see, the longer you wait, the louder that voice of doubt gets. That little moment of hesitation between the impulse to do something scary and actually doing it, that's the danger zone. In that gap, your brain will come up with 100 reasons why you shouldn't do it. It will invent dangers. It will remind you of past failures. It's a self-protection mechanism, but it's protecting you from growth. So you have to shrink that gap. You have to give yourself less time to talk yourself out of it. There's a brilliant concept called the 5-second rule, made famous by Mel Robbins. It's simple. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal or an idea, you must physically move within 5 seconds. You count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And when you hit go, you move. You get out of bed. You raise your hand to ask the question. You walk across the room to talk to that person. It's a launch sequence for your brain, a way to override your own fear. Why does this work? Because counting backward requires focus. It distracts you from the worries and excuses your brain is trying to serve you. It interrupts the habit of hesitation and self-doubt. It's a starting ritual that shifts your mind from thinking to doing. It's not about feeling ready. You will never feel ready to do the things that scare you. It's about taking action before your feelings have a chance to veto the decision. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the judgment that something else is more important than fear. This rule helps you act on that judgment. Start small with this. The alarm goes off in the morning. You don't want to get up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and your feet hit the floor. You see an email you've been dreading to answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you start typing your reply. You want to go to the gym after work, but you feel tired. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you put on your sneakers. Each time you use this rule, you are building a new habit. You are casting a vote for the person who acts, not the person who hesitates. You are proving to yourself, one 5-second decision at a time, that you are in control, not your fear. All right, so the 5-second rule helps you act. But what about those big, deep fears that paralyze you? You know, the ones that feel like giant monsters under your bed. The fear of quitting your job, of starting a business, or maybe ending a bad relationship. For those, we need another tool. You can't just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 your way into a life-changing decision. You have to face the monster, but you're gonna do it in a smart way. This is a practice called fear setting, an idea popularized by the great Tim Ferriss. It's about defining your fears instead of letting them be this big, vague cloud of anxiety. Here's how you do it. You take out a piece of paper. On the first column, you write down the absolute worst things that could happen if you do what you're afraid of. Get specific. Don't just say, my business will fail, I will lose all my savings, I will have to move back in with my parents, my friends will think I'm a loser. Write down every single scary detail. This feels counterintuitive, right? But what you're doing is dragging the monster out from under the bed and into the light. And you often find it's not as scary as you imagined. Now, in the second column, next to each of those worst-case scenarios, you write down what you could do to prevent it from happening or at least decrease the chances. How could you minimize the risk? Start the business as a side hustle first. Create a smaller test budget. Get a small loan instead of using all my cash. You start to see that you have some control. You're not just a victim of fate. You can be strategic. You can build a safety net. This shifts you from a mindset of fear to a mindset of problem solving. Then comes the most powerful part. In the third column, you write down what you would do to repair the damage if the worst case scenario actually happened. If you lost your savings and had to move home, what would your plan be? I'd get a temporary job. I'd lean on my family for a few months. I'd start rebuilding my savings. When you write it down, you realize you would survive. You would recover. It would be uncomfortable for sure, but it wouldn't be the end of you. Suddenly, the fear that was a 10 out of 10 on the scary scale becomes a 3 or a 4. You've made your monster small. And you've also defined the massive cost of not taking action, a lifetime of regret. Nobody said you have to do this alone. In fact, trying to be a lone wolf on this journey is one of the fastest ways to fail. Embracing discomfort is hard. Your old habits will pull you back. Your brain will whisper excuses. That's why you need to surround yourself with the right people. You need a crew, a squad. You need to find your tribe of trouble. I'm talking about people who are also committed to growth. People who see a challenge and get excited, not scared. People who will push you, support you, and call you out when you're playing it safe. Your environment is more powerful than your willpower. If you hang around 5 people who are comfortable and complacent, you're gonna be the 6th. But if you hang around 5 people who are pushing their limits, who are learning new things, who are chasing big goals, you're gonna be the 6th. Their energy is contagious. When you see your friend training for a marathon, it makes you want to run a little further. When you hear about your colleague taking a coding class, it makes you think about what new skill you could learn. They raise the bar for what's considered normal. So how do you find these people? You have to go where they are. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable new environments. Join that running club. Go to that industry meetup. Sign up for that public speaking workshop. You'll find them in the places where growth happens. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. You'll feel like the new kid in school. But that feeling is the price of admission to a better tribe. You have to be willing to be a beginner in a new social circle to find the people who will help you level up for the rest of your life. Once you find them, be open. Share your goals. Share your fears. Be vulnerable. This is how you build real connection. This tribe becomes your support system. When you fall, they'll be there to pick you up. When you succeed, they'll be your biggest cheerleaders. And most importantly, when you're about to retreat back into your comfort zone, they'll be the ones to give you that loving push, that reminder of what you're capable of. They'll say, "Nah, you're not quitting. We got you." Finding your tribe doesn't just make the journey easier, it makes it possible. So here we are. We've gone on a journey. We've looked at the golden cage of comfort and the shrinking walls of good enough. We've seen how legends used rejection and struggle as their rocket fuel. Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey. We've dived into the science of brain change in hard mode, how your brain physically rebuilds itself, and how mistakes are the magic ingredient for learning. We've even armed you with practical tools, the 5-second rule, fear setting. We've covered the map, we've shown you the path, but now we're at the most important part of the journey, the part where I stop talking and you start walking. The truth is, all the inspiration and all the strategies in the world don't mean a thing without one key element, your decision. Right now, in this moment, you stand at a crossroads, a paved highway. It's well lit, and you know exactly where it leads. It leads to more of the same. Safe, predictable, and ultimately a dead end for your potential. You can choose that path. Nobody would blame you. It's the path most people take. It's the easy way out. But you're not here because you want the easy way, are you? The other path is rocky. It's steep. It's shrouded in fog. You can't see the destination clearly. This is the path of discomfort, the path of trying and failing, of feeling awkward and uncertain, of being a beginner over and over again. It demands courage. It requires resilience. It guarantees struggle. But what it also guarantees is growth. It promises adventure. It leads to new skills, deeper confidence, and a life story that is uniquely and powerfully yours. It leads to the person you were always meant to become. This choice isn't a one-time thing. It's the choice to get out of bed when the alarm goes off. The choice to raise your hand in a meeting. The choice to have that difficult conversation. The choice to pick up the weight that feels just a little too heavy. Life is constantly presenting you with these two paths, in big ways and small. Every moment is a new opportunity to choose comfort or to choose courage. Who you become is simply the sum of those choices. So what I'm giving you today is not a command, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to see your life in a new way. See that feeling of anxiety, not as a stop sign, but as a starting pistol. See that knot in your stomach not as a warning, but as a welcome mat to your next level. See every challenge as a chance to practice being the hero of your own story. Don't run from the things that scare you. Hunt them down. The things you are most afraid to do are very often the exact things you need to do to unlock the life you dream of. Your biggest fears are guarding your greatest treasures. I want you to leave here today and do one thing that makes you uncomfortable. Just one thing. Use the 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Maybe it's signing up for that class you've been putting off. Maybe it's calling that person you need to forgive. Maybe it's just going to a new coffee shop and striking up a conversation with a stranger. Start small. Prove to yourself that you can survive it. Prove to yourself that on the other side of that initial ugh is a feeling of pride, of strength, of being more alive. Collect these small wins. They are the building blocks of unshakable confidence. Your life is your masterpiece. Every day you're either adding vibrant, bold colors or you're just painting over the same spot with the same shade of gray. The beautiful, rich, and exciting parts of your painting will come from the moments you dared to try a color you'd never used before. They'll come from the uncomfortable strokes, the risky compositions. Don't live a gray life because you were afraid to mess up the canvas. Embrace the mess. Embrace the struggle. Embrace the discomfort. That is where all the art is. That is where all the magic happens. So go out there. Seek the edge of your comfort zone and then take one more step. Fall down and get back up. A little stronger. A little wiser. Let your life be a testament to what is possible when a person decides that growth is more important than safety. Let the world be your gym, and let every challenge be another rep. The person you are destined to be is waiting for you on the other side of your comfort zone. Go meet them. Thank you for your time. Now go get it. Let's go.